Think about the most powerful person in your building. Your boss, your landlord, the one who decides things, the one everyone tiptoes around, the one who takes more than their share and somehow nobody stops them. Now imagine what would happen if that person existed 50,000 years ago. You might assume they would just be in charge. That is how it works in nature, right? The strongest individual rises to the top. The alpha dominates. The rest fall in line. But the real answer is far stranger than that, and it rewrites almost everything you have been told about human nature. They would not have risen to the top. They would have been dead. For most of human evolutionary history, before farming, before cities, before written law, human beings were remarkably, stubbornly, almost violently equal. Not equal in the soft, modern sense, equal in the sense that the moment anyone tried to dominate, the group moved against them, together, with lethal force if necessary. This was not chaos. It was not random. It was a system, an ancient, highly effective system that ran for hundreds of thousands of years before anyone thought to write it down. Anthropologist Christopher Boehm spent decades studying this system. He analyzed data from 48 hunter-gatherer societies spread across the globe, from the Arctic to the African savanna to the jungles of South America. What he found in all of them was the same pattern. Every single band of mobile foragers maintained something he called a reverse dominance hierarchy. Think about what that means. In chimpanzee society, the most dominant individual wins. In early human society, the most dominant individual lost. The group itself became the alpha. But how? How do you stop the strongest person in the group from just taking whatever they want? You do it in stages, and each stage is more extreme than the last. It starts with gossip. This is something anthropologist Robin Dunbar at Oxford has spent a career documenting. Long before language existed to share ideas or tell stories, it existed to share information about other people. Who is reliable? Who cheated? Who took more than their share on the last hunt? Who has been acting strange? Dunbar's research shows that in modern human conversations, roughly 2/3 of all talking time is still devoted to social information. Who did what to whom? Who can be trusted? Who cannot? The brain did not evolve language to discuss philosophy. It evolved language to gossip. And gossip, in a small band of 30 to 50 people living together, is extraordinarily powerful. If you start acting like you are above everyone else, people talk, immediately, relentlessly. The whole camp knows within hours. The conversation is not loud or confrontational, it is quiet, it is subtle. It builds a shared understanding of what you are doing and what needs to be done about it. This is the first leveling mechanism. Social information, reputation damage, the invisible wall that goes up around anyone who steps out of line. Most people stopped there. Most people got the message. But some did not. If gossip failed, the group moved to ridicule. This might sound small. It was not. In a world with no written law, no courts, no police, the only thing that kept the social fabric intact was the opinion of the people around you. Public mockery was a serious social weapon. The would-be dominant individual was imitated, laughed at, deflated in front of everyone. Their posturing was made to look absurd before it could take hold. Boehm documented this across cultures. The Inuit had song duels. Other groups had their own versions. The mechanism was the same everywhere. You stripped the status from the behavior before the behavior could spread. Still, some individuals pushed through. Still, some kept accumulating, kept demanding, kept trying to control others. Then came ostracism. The band stopped talking to you, stopped sharing food with you, stopped acknowledging your existence. In a modern city, this is uncomfortable. In a Pleistocene foraging band, it was a death sentence. You could not survive alone. You needed the group for food, for defense, for everything. Being cut off was not a social inconvenience, it was existential. Most people did not make it past this stage. The few who did faced something more final: execution. This is the part that tends to surprise people, but Boehm documented it clearly across dozens of societies on multiple continents. Hunter-gatherer bands did execute individuals who refused to stop dominating, not spontaneously, not in anger, but deliberately, collectively. After a social consensus had been reached through gossip and quiet conversation that the individual had become a threat to the group's survival. This was not murder in the modern sense. It was something closer to a unanimous democratic decision. Every adult in the band participated in the conversation. Every voice was heard. The act itself was often carried out communally, so that no single person bore the weight of it alone. Boehm called this his execution hypothesis, the idea that the selective pressure against aggressive, domineering individuals ran so deep and lasted so long that it actually changed the human body. It domesticated us. It is part of why modern humans look the way we do. Softer facial features than our ancient ancestors, reduced brow ridges, smaller teeth. The same physical changes you see in domesticated animals compared to their wild counterparts. Because for hundreds of thousands of years, the personality type most likely to be removed from the gene pool was the one that tried to take over. Harvard anthropologist Richard Wrangham has connected this to what he calls human self-domestication, the idea that humans, uniquely among primates, turned the pressure of selection back on themselves. Rather than the strongest winning, the cooperative won. Rather than the aggressive dominating, the pro-social survived. Generation after generation, the people who shared, who deferred, who contributed without demanding control were the ones who lived long enough to have children. You are the descendant of people who survived the gossip, who survived the mockery, who survived the ostracism. Your ancestors were the ones who learned to share. What is remarkable is how universal this was. Boehm did not find it in one culture or one region. He found it in the Hadza in Tanzania, in the San in the Kalahari, in forager bands across the Amazon, in groups across Southeast Asia and the Arctic. Every mobile forager society studied in depth shows the same pattern, the same tools in the same order. Gossip first, mockery second, ostracism third, execution last. This is not a recent cultural invention. This is not the Enlightenment. This is not ancient Greece. This is something written into the social DNA of the species, layer by layer, across hundreds of thousands of years of enforced egalitarianism. Here is what makes this strange to sit with. For the vast majority of human history, there was no boss. There was no person who got to decide more than anyone else. There were leaders, yes, but Boehm found that hunter-gatherer leaders are described almost identically across unrelated cultures around the world. They advise, they do not command. They lead by example and persuasion, never coercion. And the moment they try to push beyond that, the gossip starts. The moment someone takes more than their share, the group talks. The moment someone talks over everyone else in the circle, the eyes start to meet. This is so deeply embedded in your neurology that you feel it every day without knowing what it is. The discomfort you feel when one person at the table takes too much. The instinctive irritation when one voice controls the room. The collective satisfaction when someone who has been acting above their station gets brought back down to earth. These are not petty emotions. These are the inheritance of 300,000 years of social enforcement, still running in the background of every interaction you have. Then something changed. About 10 to 12,000 years ago, humans started farming, settling, building. And for the first time in the history of the species, it became possible to accumulate resources that could not be demanded back. Stored grain, controlled land, walls, The people who had more could now protect it. The reverse dominance hierarchy, the system that had worked for so long, began to break down. Boehm tracked it. The more sedentary a society became, the more hierarchical it became. The more resources could be stored, the more alpha-type individuals could hold on to them. The gossip still ran, the mockery still happened, but execution became harder when the person you wanted to remove had a granary and armed guards. What took hundreds of thousands of years to build was dismantled in a few thousand. And yet, it did not disappear entirely. The egalitarian impulse never went away. It just lost its mechanism. It is still there, in the gossip about your manager behind closed doors, in the election that throws someone out of power, in the collective moral outrage when someone is seen to have taken too much, in the intuition shared across every human culture on Earth that no one should be above everyone else. The philosopher in you might call that justice. The anthropologist would call it something older than any word you have for it. Think about the most powerful person in your building, the one who talks over everyone, the one who takes more than their share. Your ancestors had a system for that. It worked for a very long time. And some part of your brain is still running it every single day, even when you have no idea why.